But just to build off of that debate answer that you gave, because a lot of the argument of what's going on now about moderation versus leftists is about structuralism versus campaigns versus candidates. How much is baked in with polarization and economic factors where it doesn't matter who you run. The fact is, in close elections, that stuff matters at the margins. So, like, Michael Dukakis didn't lose because of his debate flub. And for those of you who don't know it, Bernard Shaw from CNN asks him, um, if somebody rapes and murders your wife, would you want the death penalty or want
Because he was
retribution?
opposed to the death penalty.
Opposed to the death penalty. And he gives this dry, technocratic policy answer about why the death penalty is a bad thing. And everybody watching their TVs is thinking, you fool, I would want to strangle the person myself, Like they're looking for an emotional answer. And he walked off the stage and said to Susan Estrich, his campaign manager, I just lost this, didn't I? He knew
He
it
didn't
was
lose it because of that, though.
no, but like he knew it, but like that wasn't the difference. Whereas Al Gore, the size and the eye rolls in
He didn't lose because of that
2000.
either. He didn't lose.
No, but I'm saying it's a lot more possible because 500 voters, like you
Oh
flip
yeah, yeah.
250 votes in Florida, that's a lot more possible,
Yeah, but
right?
like it could have rained in a certain part of Florida and kept
Right.
Democrats home, right?
Well,
There's you can go with any
there
possible
is
explanation.
political science evidence from 1980 that the Jimmy Carter's concession cost the Democrats out west because the polls weren't
That's
closed. And
right.
somebody like Frank Church would have won. There's evidence that when it rains, it tends to have an impact on the election. In fact, there was a Republican who got quoted in Politico last month in those Georgia Public Service Commission races that we talked about at the beginning, who said, I don't just want it to rain in Atlanta, I want it to hail in Atlanta on election day because they had municipal elections in Atlanta yesterday. And he understood that if people turned out in Atlanta, he had a problem. So, all of this kind of stuff matters in close elections. That